in your clothes or don't look good in your clothes. Anytime you have a desire to stand out in any manner, in the end, if you look behind it, is an aggressive act against yourself and your fellow man. It's an unwillingness to accept that reality is something that's real in itself that you can't enhance or take away from. And that what you're really doing is trying to coerce the world to revolve around yourself. In any form whatsoever, I mean in any form, from the littlest to the biggest. And the worst part is that there's no peace to that. What people get out of that is a form of excitement. It excites them. And through that excitement, of course it confuses them, but it's a kind of confusion and excitement that makes them, that is self-centered. So it gives them a deep ego satisfaction.
I know, I've been thinking though, it's like, there's got to be some social thing. I mean, you're not into that social at all. Like, but there's got to be a way to do, you know, social acts, eating, any kind of life. There's got to be a social life.
The reason people believe there is such a thing in society, there is no such thing in society. All there is individual human beings.
So how are people going to get it all together?
There's nothing to get together. There is nothing to get together. If people would stop trying to get it together, they'd stop screwing each other up, they'd stop imposing on one another, and they would just let each other be, and each person would live with the natural goodwill.
It seems like if people would, you know, it seems like people would fuck up.
The reason people mess up is because
bad people would take advantage.
There are no bad people, John. Badness is the desire to impose on other people. As soon as you dress a certain way, as soon as you think self-centeredness, you're imposing on others.
You think it's a good place to just go away without some people trying to help? No, some people aren't trying to.
All you're talking about is if everybody, as soon as people believe there's a society, right, in any form, right, that's an act of aggression. So you're only talking about after everybody has become aggressive, how do you compete with the other aggressive forces? You're not talking about being non-aggressive, which is not entering the picture at all. Then you become a force of clarity, and you're capable of helping other people become clear. If you're in the action of conflict, as soon as you believe there is such a thing as society instead of individual people, then you're already in conflict. If you believe you have an identity to maintain, if you believe you're somebody, you're in conflict. And you are aggressively, very forcefully aggressive against yourself and all other people. And people have done that so much that they don't know what peace means. Peace of heart. If you don't do that, then goodwill and loving kindness comes right out of your heart in every act you do. You don't judge others, you don't evaluate others, you act out of loving kindness.
And that'll help, then you just make natural, good, clean art, and
that's reality.
Not being...
You're not imposing, you're not attempting to impose on anybody. You don't have any need for excitement to excite your emotions, your feelings, your ego. You are calm, you're capable of contributing in any situation you come up against. You're going to contribute human values. Human values are kindness, love, understanding, compassion. You're going to be able to respond to the situation. You'll have no judgment on it, no thoughts about it, no feelings about it. You will respond to it as a human being. And that will purify and clarify that situation at all times, every 24 hours a day, no matter what you're doing. And that's what human beings can do. And they cannot do anything socially. Any attempt, even allowing yourself to have even that much feeling that there is a society is to deny the validity of him and me and you and everything else. There is no such thing. That's a fantasy. There's no such thing as Joshua. That's a fantasy.
So as soon as you get away from that, then naturally things will just...
You got to drop that. Everything works if you let it work. It cannot work with everybody competing with each other. You got 5.5 billion people in competition with one another. Their egos clashing like this, trying to impose themselves on one another. Look at me, some for attention. You know, everybody wants the world to revolve around themselves. But Now that's difficult because all our life that's all we've ever seen. Most people are so much into the conflict that they don't believe there is such a thing as peace. They don't believe there's such a thing as reality. And they don't believe it's capable of being happy. Because most people would not, when most people talk about happiness, they're talking about exhilaration. Like winning in a situation gives you a charge. Being famous gives you a charge. Recognition gives you a charge. Peace and harmony come from a calm heart and peacefulness. No desire for it to stand out and all that stuff, just simply the ongoing of life. Does it make sense?
It makes sense. It's just the modern thing confuses me, all the issues. But I guess there have always been issues.
Life is timeless. There's no beginnings and ends and no modern age as opposed to human beings have always been messed up. Human beings have always been aggressive towards one another since societies were formed. I think if you checked it out back in the caveman days, it was much less aggressive, much less competitive. Human beings were quite capable of letting one another be. You know, as the country, as things became more crowded, they became competition for game and stuff like that. But I mean, this is the big thing people don't understand is that you cannot enter into competition without subduing human values, you know. And I don't care if you think you're for the right cause as opposed to the wrong cause. Aggression is aggression. And a human being does not tolerate aggression in himself. Because he knows he can no longer be human as long as he's aggressive. And the desire to stand out, to center the world around you in any manner, to give credence to your thoughts, your feelings, and your ideas is a form of aggression. To believe yours are any more real than anyone else is a form of aggression. And so we live in an aggressive world. And then people turn around and get more aggressive by finding a good cause or a bad cause or whatever. And then they're surprised when life is terrible for them, or it feels terrible, or it doesn't have any harmony. When they're creating it every moment themselves. They're living in a world, a sea of aggressive competition. So there's no calmness, no happiness to their life. They're never at peace because they're constantly further and further seeking recognition in some form. So there's some people go out and kill 26 people so they'll become famous. Do you know what I mean? Because in the end it's really centering around the same. If you got a couple of little kids here, right, and you ignore them for a while, they'll come full on you. Or they'll stop. Or they make something to get your attention. They want to be seen. You're doing the same thing. So am I doing this. Everyone's doing the same thing. We simply want to be seen. Maturity for a human being is when you no longer want to be seen. You no longer have to have the world's attention. The world doesn't have to center on you in order for you to feel good. You're quite capable of living and bringing out of yourself the highest qualities that you can find. And you don't seek special circumstance to express it. You express it to every single life you meet.
So just as soon as you try to settle down and settle in and you have an honest relationship with your life, then maybe...
Well, you don't have to settle down. You need to stop being excited. Stop seeking excitement. Stop seeking turmoil. And stop seeking to get things centered around yourself. Get an inner peace and harmony and goodwill. It's there. You got to cover it up with this subset. Not you in particular, everybody. You know.
Yeah.
That ought to be enough, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Huh?
Yeah.
Thanks, Kat.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.